The world is at a tipping point. Climate disasters are escalating, and the future of the planet hangs in the balance. At COP29, the global stage was set, and a staggering $300 billion climate finance deal was proposed. But in a bold move, India stood firm and said, no. Why would India reject such a colossal sum? Is this a fight for justice, or is India risking its climate future? Stay with us as we uncover the truth behind this historic decision. At COP29, developed countries proposed a $300 billion climate finance deal to support global efforts against climate change. The money would be allocated to fund renewable energy, climate resilience projects, and green technology in both developing and underdeveloped nations. But there's a catch. This amount would be spread thinly across nearly 200 nations. For some, it's too little, too late. For others, it's a lifeline. But for India, it's simply not enough. And the most shocking part? Developed countries get a slice of the pie too. Let's see how. So, who gets the $300 billion? A significant chunk is earmarked for underdeveloped nations struggling with extreme climate disasters. Think countries in Africa and small island nations. But here's the kicker: developed countries like the US and EU are also claiming a share to fund their green initiatives. The question is, why should nations responsible for most of the world's pollution history get a cut from a fund meant to help those suffering its consequences? India, the voice of the global south, rejected the $300 billion deal outright. Why? Because $300 billion doesn't even scratch the surface of what's needed. Adjusted for inflation, India has demanded at least $1 trillion to effectively tackle climate challenges. With a population of 1.4 billion and ambitious climate goals, including achieving net zero by 2070, India knows the cost of change. And let's not forget, India emits a fraction of what developed nations have historically polluted. But here's a twist. While India rejected the deal, not everyone agrees. Let's hear what the West had to say. The irony is hard to miss. For centuries, the West built its wealth by burning coal and oil, turning a blind eye to the environment. Now, they're leading the charge against climate change, telling the world to go green while offering crumbs for the mess they created. Developing nations like India are left to foot the bill, even though their per capita emissions are far lower. Is this true climate justice, or just another way for the West to maintain control? And then there's Donald Trump. Known for his fiery rhetoric and controversial decisions, Trump has publicly opposed the $300 billion climate finance deal. He calls it a waste of money and a trap for America. During his presidency, he withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement, arguing that it unfairly burdened the US. While his stance resonates with some Americans, it further isolates the US from global climate leadership. What does this mean for deals like COP29? India's rejection of the $300 billion deal isn't just about money, it's about survival. Climate change is already impacting millions of Indians, from devastating floods to crippling droughts. India has one of the most ambitious renewable energy programs in the world, but achieving these goals requires substantial investment. By demanding more, India is not just advocating for itself, but for all developing nations that refuse to be shortchanged by history. But will the world listen, or will history repeat itself? Let's find out in the final act. The $300 billion rejection at COP29 highlights a deeper issue: the growing divide between the global north and south. Without genuine cooperation, climate change will spare no one. Whether rich or poor, every nation will pay the price. The question is, will the West take responsibility, or will developing nations like India continue to fight for justice alone? Comment your thoughts below. Do you think India's demand for $1 trillion is justified, or should it accept the $300 billion offer? This story doesn't end here. For more on how India is navigating controversies and global challenges, check out our video on the Jama Masjid controversy, a tale of faith, history, and tensions. If you found this video interesting, please do like, subscribe, and share.